Being invisible is not what you think it's like. I walked around slowly, calming my heartbeat. Instinctively, I understood what Hecate meant. If you focused on relaxing, 800,000 heartbeats would be a far greater time than if you were in distress. Time in that realm elapsed differently for each creature, and indifferent to the time on Earth, the concrete world. As I focused, I could see more the savage world I was in, and less the Earth that, temporarily, I hoped, I didn't belong in. Hecate attacking the woolly mammoth had dispersed most creatures in the area. Shapes taller than the trees still could be seen moving around, but they were too far and titanic to take notice of me. Okay, you have to find your inner force. You have a hidden strength within you. You can defeat the dodo, who is actually gigantic somehow, I muttered to myself, unsure of how I would release such power. The only thing I knew is that I had to breathe slowly. Not freaking out was a huge task on its own. I don't know for how long I roamed around clueless. Excuse me, miss. I heard you say something about the dodo. I turned around to see where the shy voice came from. A delicate-looking lady was extending her gloved hand in my direction. She could be any age between 20 and 30, with rosy cheeks and beautiful clothing. The woman was a little more solid than me, but not as solid as the dodo or other strong monsters. Yes, I did. I'm Abby, I replied, deciding I should trust her and shake her hand. It's amazing how, before I became invisible, I dreamed of spending weeks without having human interaction. But now I got lonely so easily. It felt awfully depressing to look around and only see walking corpses with blurred faces or human outlines consisting of static. I'm Ada, she said softly. Ada Lovelace. Haven't I heard your name before? I asked. I don't know exactly why, but it sounded familiar. She blushed in delight, and her body became just a bit more visible. Just enough for me to notice. Well, I think so. I was almost erased from history by men, but you girls are finding me again. She smiled. I think it helped that I faced off the dodo. I didn't win, but Hecate found the battle thrilling enough to consider it a draw. That's good. What happened? Well, I was able to keep, not disappearing, and got a little bit stronger. You know what happens if you lose, right? I shook my head, and for a moment, she seemed to be surprised that I accepted Hecate's deal without asking about this part. You entered the dodo's eyes. The incomprehensive abyss. Not even Hecate knows what happens there, but one would assume It's either infinite pain or eternal nothingness. As I preceded this terrifying information, Ada screamed, "Careful," and rushed me to hide behind something. Noticing my confusion, she quickly clarified. "This place is made of obsolete objects." My new companion whispered. I didn't even understand most of the paraphernalia around me, but they seemed to belong to all times in the past. "Look, that one is Earth Shark." "What the damn?" Ada shushed me and made me look. Right where we stood not a minute ago, there was a surreal creature. It looked pretty much like the white shark, but bigger. Around the size of a tunnel boring machine, except its mouth was over 270 degrees around its body, like a ridiculously large zipper. That was the scariest jaw I have ever seen. Also, the monster was out of water and moving like a centipede. The Earth Shark devoured everything on its way, not seeming to care whether something could be considered food or not. His sharp teeth easily crushed objects, boulders, and the unfortunate creature that didn't escape quickly enough. Thank God this thing completely blind and deaf. Thank God this thing is completely blind and deaf. Not that nimble either, Ada explained. Which means you're safe as long as you stay out of his way. Oh, okay. I immediately worked on calming my heartbeat and breathing, so he wouldn't lose precious time over the bizarre monster's arrival. I tried not to think about how cold it was, not only in that moment, but always. The air was also so damp that it felt oppressive all the time. It also felt old and rarefied. When I turned my attention to Ada again, she was holding a handful of tiny, yellow flowers. Are you hungry? Just then, I realized my stomach was rumbling loudly. A moment ago, I felt nothing, but when I thought about food, I felt malnourished and weak, like I was a nomad, starving in the middle of the desert, something that wasn't that far from the truth. I accepted half the portion of herbs. I have no words to explain how it tasted, except for transcendent. My awe must have been clear on my face. Did you like it? Ada smiled. It's silphium. The Romans used it so much it's gone extinct. Actually extinct. So don't worry about eating it. It won't make the silphium disappear even more. It's good for us. Once again, I noticed that Ada grew a little more corporal. After eating just a small handful, I felt my stomach pleasantly full, like I've rarely been before. Now that we moved this out of the way, we should work on your battle. First of all, you must embrace your rage and understand it, Ada said, in a practical, didactic tone. Okay, Ada, you're being a big help, but I have to ask you, why would you care? Shouldn't you be trying to get yourself out of this nightmare? Also, what do you mean by understanding my rage? She smiled, unfazed. Every smile of hers had a different nuance. In time, people will bring me back. I know it. But will people remember you? Abigail. Will they care? I don't think so, I replied, after she patiently watched me. I help you because I can help you. I would never leave a fellow human, let alone a fellow woman. Face the dodo on their own. If Hecate sees potential in you, he must be right. He's always right. And I have a little experience with the dodo, so... Okay, sorry for doubting your intentions. But about the rage... There's no need to pretend that you don't know. Everyone that's here loathes something or someone. Everyone. What makes your blood boil? I'm mad about my stupid job and the awful customers. They made me a pariah. I didn't used to be disgusting. But you know what? There's something else I hate more. The reason I had to be there in the first place. I noticed my closed fists were glowing bright red. I wish my siblings were dead. Embrace this feeling, Abby. Embrace. Your rage and hatred is you. You think you've been here for a long time. Well, there are beings that were sent here thousands of Earth years ago. Do you want to be like them? Do you want to become a blur and disappear? Or do you, and to feel really mad and leave? I focused on my rage. All the long shifts slaving off so my siblings would complain about my cooking when I got home. All the dreams I gave up to be mistreated every day so I could help support two teenagers that did nothing all day and still couldn't manage to raise their grades above mediocrity. All the guilt trips and projections of my deadbeat father my mother made on me. All the sleepless nights because little shit couldn't turn off her phone and shut her fucking mouth for 5 hours. I felt a mix of pain and greatness as, from my own blood and bones, a ruby red katana was born inside my closed hand. Fist gasped so tightly I thought my fingers would break. It grew from within my palm like Jack's magic beanstalk, except it was made of blood, heartburn, and sheer power. I heard 2 pairs of hands slowly clap behind me, and a majestic shriek that didn't inspire fear in me this time. I had indeed a lot of potential, and I was ready to use it. My little bunyips, that is all from Mr. Villyn today. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel helps tell YouTube that you're liking my content and want to see more of it. Clicking the notification bell will keep you up to date with my videos and notify you whenever I upload. You can also dislike the video if you want, but doing that might be hazardous to your health.